Let's see. Metaphorical, in your Avatar video, thanks for watching that, by the way, you mentioned Snowdrop as the next version of Ubisoft's engine, seemingly in a positive light, wondering what's the difference here as someone who knows not. Metaphorical, there's some stuff which I think will become apparent in the coming months as they show off some more stuff. I've seen some things behind closed doors that are very impressive with this Ubisoft engine. Like the scalar technology is one thing that they're doing. This thing's kind of crazy. Like, look at this. This is one of those things from Ubisoft's tech that is wild.
Video games have evolved to bring more and more players into worlds where they can experience new adventures. Step by step, game makers have taken advantage of incremental improvements in technology to push the boundaries of what is possible. Always dreaming of bigger and more interactive game worlds, yet always being limited by the computing power at their disposal.
These are the exact same problems that like every one of these developers have run into. Exact same thing.
What if we could make this limitation a thing of the past? Games are powered by engines. The bigger and deeper games have become, the more complex the engines.
Remember I was mentioning earlier that eventually we'd probably see games that take like NPC simulations and stuff and take that into the cloud? That's something that I like. This is a solution to. Okay, so that's what they're talking about in the coming moments. Okay, so this type of engine technology could actually create, I think, the game that Bethesda is kind of pitching that I would guess they probably don't totally deliver on, but it's this kind of thing that they're going to describe.
Animation, sound, rendering, physics, gameplay, and many more systems are crammed into the engine in very static ways, making major changes increasingly difficult. Our approach is different. We are setting game makers free from the restrictions of single machine computing, transforming these engine systems into distributed services and allowing them to harness vast amounts of processing power in the cloud. This enables the construction of gigantic game worlds at a scale far greater than anything that has come before. This technology is built to power the game worlds of tomorrow. To bring them to life, it supports massive numbers of game assets, simulations, AI and player entities. And because the dreams of players and game makers are constantly evolving, this technology is made to evolve alongside them, updating constantly and adding more capabilities as they are needed without interrupting play. Imagine a game world, vast, rich, and fully simulated, populated by an unlimited number of players, all sharing and shaping a single reality together. Not long ago, this could only have been a dream. Today, we are building the technology to make this happen. Introducing Ubisoft Scalar.
So this is like one of those things that I was referencing earlier, where you harness the power of the cloud to do a lot of the stuff that limits games on console and PC right now. The downside, and I think it's a big downside that pisses off a lot of people, is that this would require single player games be always online, and they would not function if they were offline. So this is not something where it's like, oh, it's a DRM that locks it to online only. No, like if it's not online, it can't simulate NPCs, it can't simulate water, it can't simulate all of this other stuff. The game just does not work. So this tech is amazing and could be used to do some wild things, but it also has a series of pretty big red flags. It also, allows for a unified system, which smells like NFTs. Certainly is where this started. Ubisoft, I think, was playing around a lot with NFTs just a few short months ago. Even like, they launched that Assassin's Creed Mirage NFT project in the last few months. But they've seen pretty clearly NFTs are dying quickly. Justin Bieber's NFT, they just showed that it lost 95% of its value since he bought it. So NFTs, I think, are a thing of the past. It's clear the public just does not care about them. And now everybody's shifted. All those NFT bros are now moving into AI stuff. And they're all like, oh, let me show you how to use this command prompt to get AI to jerk you off with a rake. Like, it's just ridiculous. So they're just moving on to the next, the next wagon. But This kind of technology that we're talking about here is what Ubisoft and their new engine stuff is capable of. And I would guess that over the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to start to see games that do things that are truly next generation, like truly amazing. Because you think back, the same strategy of game development has been at play, the same overarching structure of it has been consistent since the 2000s. Like, you get the game working on this console, it runs on the console, maybe it syncs save data, this or that, maybe it talks to other players through the cloud, but that's pretty much it. Harnessing cloud simulation to help run your game has not really been done at all. Like, there's some games like Star Citizen does it with their shard technology to make it so that things are persistent in the universe. So if you drop a can in the game world on a planet in some cave somewhere off in the distance, and you leave for 6 months in the real world, you can come back, and as long as nobody's touched it, that can will still be there in that game world. That's cool, and that's using the cloud tech that they have working as of today in Star Citizen. But that's just a small piece of what you could do with cloud computing and some of this stuff. So it's just a whole other thing. He took my thing.